Welcome to Brilliantly British. My name is Lawrence and today I'm going to show you how to make cream-filled brandy snap biscuits. So as I show you how, please sit back, relax with a cup of tea in hand, putting those feet up too, and enjoy this episode. And don't forget to subscribe. To the rest of the world, it will come as no surprise to learn that the island nation of tea drinkers are also passionate about all things that go well with it. Biscuits, being a prime example, have featured on the channel in various shapes and sizes in order to persuade you, our dear home bakers, to take on some, if not all, of the recipes which we assure you don't disappoint. In this episode, however, we're particularly chuffed to share our recipe for these brandy snap biscuits, filled with a fragrant brandy cream. Step by step, we'll show you how to bake, roll and fill these biscuits before crowning things off with a session of tasting at the end if you weren't convinced already. So now, with the introductions made and your interest peaking, please allow me to introduce the ingredients to you. For today's Brilliantly British brandy snap biscuits, you will need some brandy, you'll need some powdered ginger, some plain white flour, some golden caster sugar, some golden syrup. If you can't get hold of golden syrup, worry not. Follow the link up there to learn how to make it yourselves. You'll also be needing a lemon and some butter, followed by a little pinch or two of salt to avoid the occurrence of bland food. That's it for the making of today's Brilliantly British brandy snap biscuits. But, please, before you get started, before you do anything at all, switch on your kettle, brew yourself a nice cup of hot tea so that you can sip on that whilst you bake. Begin preparing your brandy snaps after a sip of tea by slowly melting butter in the saucepan over a medium-low heat with golden syrup, your sugar and a pinch of salt. Stir the contents constantly as the butter melts to homogenize the ingredients and most importantly dissolve the sugar. With the contents homogeneous and molten, having never boiled, with all sugar dissolved, at which point you then want to switch off your source of heat, begin preheating your oven before taking at least a 10-minute long break to allow the contents to cool with a tea in hand as well as some Brilliantly British content before making sure, of course, to like and subscribe. 10 minutes later, with the contents somewhat cooler, turn in lemon zest, lemon juice, and the all-important brandy with ginger powder of an excellent quality, as I shall now demonstrate, before stirring once more until well combined. Thereafter, with a sieve in hand, sift your flour before adding to complete your brandy snap batter, bearing in mind that at first the flour will clump up and will require a few minutes of mixing before it eventually disperses. With the batter made, I recommend leaving it to rest for a further 10 minutes or until it cools completely, as this will make the job of portioning much easier. Nevertheless, at the bottom on a wide baking tray, on will go a silicone baking mat or a baking parchment, upon which I'll spoon a tablespoon's worth of the batter one at a time, with them being spaced at least 5 to 7 centimeters apart. I also recommend baking no more than 6 at a time for reasons I shall mention later on. Alas, with the first batch portioned, bake them until spread out and bronze, giving you more time to enjoy more of our content whilst taking a break. When ready, set them to one side, as they'll need to be cool enough to handle but firm enough to roll, which for a batch of more than 6 would be a bit of a challenge. 5 minutes later, with the end of a wooden spoon older than myself, I quickly formed the brandy snaps while they were still malleable to form a cone, and if you do find it difficult to roll them all before they harden, you can return them to the oven for a minute or two to soften in order to buy yourself some time. And so, with the first batch made, repeat the aforementioned steps until all of the batter has been consumed, yielding a delectable batch of Brandy snap cones. To finish the recipe off, whip up a serving of double cream to stiff peaks with a sprinkling of salt and some sugar before adding a dash of brandy at the very end, giving the cream a lovely, fragrant flavour. To fill the cones, I prepped a piping bag with a medium star nozzle before filling my cones with cream to the brim, as well as leaving some bare to enjoy on their own. So, now with a fresh cup of tea made and a batch of brandy snaps prepared, I think it's time for tasting, tasting, tasting. All right, are you ready? Are you steady? 3, 2, 1. Having tasted at least one of these brandy snaps, I can tell you without a doubt they are fantastic. They are beautiful, they are crisp, they are chewy as well. And let me actually dive into that. For something so simple looking, they are actually wonderfully complex. The first thing that you get, of course, is the lovely sweetness that comes from the brown sugar, the golden syrup. That's there, that's evident. But then the texture is quite distinct. You've got the snap there, which is in the name. And then what comes afterwards, as you chew, you've got a lovely chewiness to it. It lingers as well. The ginger's coming through. You've got the lemon zest, and then you've got the lovely aromatic brandy coming through as well. And then because these brandy snaps have been filled with whipped cream, you've got the whipped cream there that just dissolves on the tongue and is angel food, to put it lightly, which is a bit ironic. But look, having said all of that, I hope I've sold this batch of Brandy Snap biscuits to you because they are incredibly simple to make and wonderfully rewarding to eat. So please, 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 when time allows, go out, get the ingredients, make a batch of these biscuits because it will be 110% worth it. Please, please, please make these biscuits, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for allowing me to show you how to make Brandy Snap biscuits. Knowing that you loved this episode, don't forget to click on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you don't miss any of our new releases. Tell everyone you know, and I mean everyone that you know, about the brilliantly British food on this channel. And follow us on all of the social media platforms that this channel is on. And I will see you next